Gentlemen, Antonio here. All right, so you'll probably notice a little bit different of a background and setting. I'm in Kiev, Ukraine. My wife is from Kiev, Ukraine. My kids, I've got 4 of them. They speak both languages, Ukrainian and English. They also speak quite a bit of Russian. But we try to come here at least a couple times a year. And it's important for us to spend time with family, to spend time with people that you just don't know how long they're going to be here. We've had, unfortunately, some, just some setbacks in the family with people passing away, people just, things happening. But today I wanted to share with you a special Christmas message. I don't do these very often, but I wanted to share with you a Christmas story. So the story goes like this. A few years back, there was a guy, and this guy worked really hard, probably like a lot of you all, but he was incredibly busy because everything was vying for his time. Everything seemed important, from the apps on his cell phone to everything people told him he should be doing as he's getting his businesses up off the ground, to family commitments, to friends wanting to talk with him for a couple hours, to go out, drink beers, all that fun stuff. And he had kids, he had a wife that he wanted to spend time with and maintain a good relationship with, not end up not knowing her after 20 years and get a divorce. So he was struggling because his business wasn't doing super great. It's a place some of you guys can relate to. He was in many ways going from paycheck to paycheck. He wasn't putting money aside. He knew that he needed to be. I mean, he was a pretty smart guy. He had fancy degrees, he had all this stuff going for him, but it just didn't seem to be falling in place. And then, I'm not going to say he made just one change and fixed it all, but one of the things he realized is that his time is very valuable. And he learned from a guy named Derek Sievers, who talked about, you either need to say, when you're approached with an opportunity, which we are with hundreds every single day, whether to go do something like just go to the store or to spend time with somebody, it either needs to be a hell yeah or a no. There is no middle ground. Don't fall into the trap of just doing things. So to make sure his default answer became no, he set a price per hour that his time was worth. And it started off just at a couple $100, and it started to move up. Eventually, he set it at $500 when he realized he was pretty bad at judging time, and it was better to go high than low. And nowadays, I can tell you that his time he values at $1,000 an hour. And why this is really powerful, gents. So you may relate to this guy. You may have the same thing where you just feel like you're on a treadmill, that you are working 2 jobs, that maybe you're starting 3 companies, you're going to school, you are trying to spend time with your kids, with your family, and you just feel like you are underwater. You feel like you're treading water, but you're holding a brick and you've got weights tied to your ankles, and it is hard. What happened whenever this guy, and if you haven't figured it out, that guy was me. If you haven't figured out, once he figured out that his time was worth a certain amount, it became very easy for him to start to say no to things. No became his default answer. And he didn't do that because he wanted to be, a dick or anything, or he didn't want to just say no to people. But when it came down to it, he realized he only had a set amount of time. And that set amount of time he had to spend with the people he loves, with the people that were going to help him achieve more. And it forced him not to really cut off relationships with people that maybe it wasn't the right time for that relationship anymore. But it forced him to ask the hard question and to realize his own mortality, to realize that, hey, if you want it, whatever you want to get out of this life, you've got to go get it, but you've only got a set amount of time. So guys, my Christmas message to you is to figure out how you can make no your default answer and set what your time is worth. You're not doing this because you really, because money is your number one thing. It simply is, it's a quantitary, it's a way for you to, figure, it's a score. Why do we have scores in games? So that we can see, anyone that's played sports at a high level knows that, hey, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. But when it comes down to it, it really is about you putting in your best and you becoming the best man you can be. And that's when you start to set, hey, my time is worth $100 an hour. Maybe you started out at my time is worth $10 an hour. I don't know what it may be. But once you set that, it becomes really easy for you to say, you know what? I can't be wasting my time on all those notifications and apps on Facebook. I can't be answering the same email 100 times. I've got to hire an assistant. I can't be, doing this thing or, spending. I've had an assistant come in. She packages up all of my packages that go out. Yeah, we only send them once a month for everyone that won those giveaways. You probably know there's a little bit of a wait. I'm sorry for that. But when it came down to it, I realized, hey, I'm giving away something for free in some case that's worth hundreds of dollars. And if people have to wait a little bit so that I can spend more time with my kids, I'm fine with that. I'm not going to, put in a crazy amount of time. Another thing, when you realize your time is valuable, is that you start to realize that, hey, you can put a limit on it and you're going to start to cut off the things that don't matter. So this was really interesting. I reduced my work week down to 40 hours. And there was a time, especially when I was incredibly busy, I thought I was accomplishing a lot, but really wasn't getting much done. I was working 80 to 90 hours a week. Anyone that gets up at 5 o'clock on a Sunday, and by the way, you've already put in 6 days of 12 hours, but you're still getting at 5 o'clock on a Sunday so that you can get ahead on the week coming. You're not getting ahead. You are you're on a treadmill and you're not going anywhere. What happens is when you cut your work week down, it forces you to say no to those things that don't matter, so that you can say yes to the things that do matter. I've got a sign in my office. Actually, maybe I don't really have my office anymore, but I still have that sign. And it says, is the time I'm spending on this project worth the time I could be spending with my family? For me, that's my why. That's what drives me. Today, I got to spend a great time doing arts and crafts with my 3 young daughters. My son, he didn't want to do the arts and crafts. But the point is, I can now make time for my kids because I set those barriers, and no became my default answer because I realized my time was incredibly valuable, as I only have so much here left time on this earth. So guys, my Christmas message to you is to make sure that you're valuing your time so that you can spend it with those you love. And those you love, you better tell them that you love them, because you only have so many times before it's too late and before you're going to miss it. So guys, that's it. I would love to hear from you down in the comments how you are going to better value your time, what your time is worth an hour, how you are going to make no your default answer. And guys, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year. All those great, I'm sorry, I don't know every holiday. I do know in Ukraine, they celebrate Christmas on January 7th, which we will do here. January 7th, I believe, or maybe it's 6th. I get this mix. I know I have Christmas tomorrow, the 25th, but I would love to hear from you guys from around the world. I appreciate you guys from India, from Pakistan, from the Philippines, from South Africa, from Australia, from Indiana, from parts of where we had people from Somalia, from Djibouti, where else? Europe, France, we had Spain. I appreciate you guys from around the world. I wish you, whatever holiday you're celebrating this season, I wish you well, and take care. I'll see you in the comments.